Alright, here we go. Skevious Tips. Welcome back, man.
What's up, bro? Long time.
Yeah, it's been a while, you know. I mean, this is actually like the first ever like in-person interview that we did, you know. I know like the last time like this is like on the like written record and all that, you know, I did like the article based on it, but this time, you know, you get to be like on the actual like YouTube page for like TOY and all that, you know. And I guess like that's gonna be like a blessing like, right there, you know.
Yeah, nah, you really stepped your game up, bro. Like I was saying off camera. Yeah, you obviously love it. Obviously, we're on your grind. It's impressive to see. I like to see it. It's good.
And I definitely appreciate that. And you know, it's been like 3 years since we last conversated. I know that you've been doing. I know that you've been doing well, like on the promotion type of side by promoting John, like on like. You know, like the IG like stories and all that, like for Sway's like competition. I know that you've been working with like a lot of artists like lately, like in that sense, like in your own field too. And then you know, I think since 2019, I know you opened up like the Palmer Squares like at Adelaide Hall like a while back, and then also dropped 2 projects lately. Not lately, but like since then. So I want to like get into that for a bit. So you dropped Dank Moody and Wasted Talent since our last interview. What were like the creative processes like and the inspiration for this project?
Yeah, first of all, just to clarify, I've never actually got the opening spot for the Palmer Squares. I did perform with them at Adelaide Hall and in a couple other cities in Ontario, but I was just a part of their set. I didn't actually have an opening spot, which is kind of funny. That it's kind of funny when I speak to artists that I know that I'm cool with, and they don't even have power over who the opener is. I've just always made it a goal of mine to have that power when I'm ever bestowed that privilege. But just to clarify, in regards to the last 2 projects, we'll start with Wasted Talent. Hindsight's obviously 2020. I think Wasted Talent is the better project overall. I mean, it's obviously all me. Wasted Talent 2020 was that was my favorite project I've ever done, probably because it was all me. It was all one sound. I shouldn't say it was all me, it definitely wasn't. We had original music from Dro, D-R-O, beats by Dro, or Who is Dro. Man goes by many names. He's a killer beat maker out of Barrie, I think. Got nothing but love for the dude. Helped make that project what it was. And then of course my man's Meyer Clarity came through, and we worked on that album in the studio, in like 3 separate studios, in our home studio when we were living together. So that was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears in that project. I'm very proud of it. No features on it. It's 100% all the way what I was at that point in my life. So I love that project. If you listen to this, go check out Wasted Talent from 2020. It's a little bit slept on. And then Dank Moody was so Wasted Talent came out the week that COVID started. That week. Like, I don't know if it was like the Friday of that week. I think they shut the world down on like a Thursday or some shit, or a Wednesday. And so I had big plans for that album. We had like some tour dates in the works for that summer. All that went down the drain, obviously. And then 2 years later, it's kind of hard to still. We had just got off the road, so it was easy to connect with people down in the States and places we went. So we were gonna do a bit of a tour for that album, and that never happened. So basically, every promotional effort was out the door, and it was just whoever was listening that listened to it. And over the years, it's gotten some love here and there. But yeah, I love that project, and I love Dro and Meyer for helping me make it. And yeah, I'm still very proud of it. Dank Moody is my next project. It came out coming up on a year now. It'll be a year in July or August. I think it was August it came out. I wanted to put it out before my birthday, so it must have been like the last week of August 2021. What we did with that project was those were mostly songs from both Bridge Fires and Wasted Talent that just didn't make the cut for either, that we brought out, that Meyer pulled some of them up and I dug some of them out of our vault. We were like, oh shit, these stood the test of time. Like, why didn't this song or that song end up on the project? And in a lot of cases it was because, well, there's a verse missing, or I didn't finish a part. So that's where we had the idea, or I did, to bring some features in. So I tried to assemble somewhat of a Team Canada. I wanted to get the best Canadian artists that I could possibly grasp that I thought were maybe within reach. So I reached out to Junk. Shout out to Junk. He's absolutely killing it right now. And Quake Matthews, who's also absolutely killing it right now. Two artists I think are really just Canada's best and sort of next up when it comes to who's going to be around in 5 years. I don't see those guys going anywhere. So shouts and much love to both them. Junk's from the West Coast, Quake's from the East Coast. I can't forget to mention Meyer Clarity and Boney Washington. We were doing our no damn good thing. We were a force to be reckoned with, it felt like. And so I got them to hop on the last joint with me, and they had just put out their project together, which is one of my favorite projects, rap projects to ever come out of Canada. It's called Tour Support. And yeah, that's Wasted Talent and Dank Moody in a nutshell for you.
And I know that before that you worked with Palmer Squares on like the Hindsight project, that you did a song called like Keep It Real. So like, how did that collaboration come about, and how was it like working with them? What kind of you like actually meet them?
Much love to the Squares, yo. Much love to the Palmer Squares. They're some of the two most underrated rappers in the whole game. They really don't get enough props. I knew them for a long time. The year must have been 2014 at the latest. 2014, I think it was. And they came through Toronto for, I think it was their first ever show in Toronto. And I had never heard of them. A homegirl of mine calls me up and she's like, this group, the Palmer Squares, are in town for the day. They need a place to chill and smoke weed. I was like, well, I chill and smoke weed and I got a place. So she connected us. They came through. I ended up going to the show. The next day I downloaded their album. I fucked with it. I loved it. I loved their energy. They were huge fans of Wax, so we share a favorite rapper in Wax. Wax is my favorite rapper of all time. Big Wax out of California. So we had that connection. We have somewhat similar styles, I guess. Not entirely, but anyway, from there I reached out to Acumental to be on my first project, my 2014 project. Yes, this might have been 2013 even. My 2014 project, Avocado Toast, I reached out to Acumental first, and I got him and Junk on a track together because I just thought that would be fire. And it's one of the most played songs on that album to this day. So I'm getting my years mixed up. That shit might have been 2016, 2017. Who even cares at this point? But yeah, that's how I met them. We vibed right away. I think the next time or the time after that they came through for an Ontario tour, they crashed in my place, so we kicked it then. And they let me. They blessed me with letting me come up and do our tracks during their set. I got so many good things to say about those guys. I could go on all day. I'm going to see them in Chicago, so we could shoot a video shortly. Cool.
Prior to your actual career as like an established recording artist, you were battle rapping back then, like at one point. So how did you get into like battle rap by any chance?
Battle rap? Battle rap was having a heyday back when I was doing it regularly. Battle rap was in its heyday. So back then, we obviously had King of the Dot. King of the Dot at the time was at the biggest they've ever been. This was like Blackout 4 around the time whenever that happened. I went to Blackout 5, which was an event where they brought every biggest battler in the world at the time, and Drake had a hand in it, and World Dom 5. I was at all those events. I was going to all of them, and I just fell in love with it. Just fell in love with the sport, the craft. It was really in its prime. That was like the golden era of battle rap. I don't know if the culture's still the same, but it's definitely grown and become more niche, and it's cool, and I have so much respect for what the people do. Like they're real performers. It's really hard to do what they do. People say they can't rap on beat. I mean, you try and get in the ring. So I had I don't know, as soon as I heard that there was a smaller league that would book me, it wasn't even like a thing I thought about. It was like, okay, I have to do this. And I got battled some dude named Shizen. Shout out Shizen if you're listening. Sorry, I don't remember your name, bro. And then I had a couple battles that made it to YouTube, and apart from one, I think I clearly won them all. And quietly kind of walked away to pursue music, because it felt like at the time, the more I did it, the more work I realized it was, and it was taken away from my songwriting. It was taken away from a lot of things I was doing. So I decided that music was what it was going to be for me, and I kind of closed that door. And lately I've just had the urge, so I recently booked a battle. We had to push it back, but my return is imminent to the battle rap ring. Looking forward to it.
And I noticed that you were like affiliated with Beast Mode when I was like watching like these YouTube videos, because those were the only ones that had your battle rap bits on it. So how did that come about, and how was it like performing at their events?
Yeah, Beast Mode is the only league I've ever battled at. I wouldn't battle in any other league unless they gave me a bag. The battle I'm about to do, I'm putting my own money down as a bet. So I'm very loyal to them. They have a sick culture. The people who run that league are they do it for all the right reasons, and all the battlers, they're like a family there. And I went to an event recently, and it was my first event in probably 5 years, and it felt just like home. It felt just like home. I knew I had to battle again when I seen all those cats.
And I've been watching like the videos too, like you had like battles like when you were like 18, 19, like back in 2014, 2015, with people like Craze, Wendigo, Grid, Skillicam, and like White Plague. I felt like you like won against like Wendigo and like Craze and like Skillicam and all that, and even like with White Plague. I did feel like with the Grid one, like it was like a little bit tough in like my opinion, because
yeah, that's the one that I lost clearly.
Yeah.
There's a huge mismatch. I mean, I don't know who booked that battle, I don't remember. It was just a mismatch of styles. I don't see how that battle could have gone well. That was actually at the venue. That was at a venue. That was at the Gerard Theater. And anybody who's ever been to the Gerard Theater for certain events knows that you could smoke in there. So that place was a fucking hot box. I remember being very stoned when I was battling. But no, I can't even watch that battle. I think I watched it once. I know that every time I've ever started watching that battle, I get like 1 minute into it, and I just don't even want to watch myself, which is not how I am. I very much like to study back and see where I went wrong and where I could have gone better. But with that one, I was like, shout out to Grit, because he fucking murdered me.
So, like, how was like even like battling with them like, and what would you say was like the best battle, and what would you say would be your worst one?
By far the best battle was with Skrilla. Shout out to Skrilla, retaining Beast Mode champion, former Beast Mode champion now. I just saw him lose the belt, sadly. I thought it was a very, very close battle, but homie who took it from him did his thing too. It felt a lot to me like Skrilla was kind of just letting it go. I don't know if he was just showing that attitude, but you know, it's always time to pass the torch at some point, all good things. So that was the closest. Like, we have very similar styles, him and I think, as battlers. And it was neck and neck. It was neck and neck. They said I lost that at the time, but if you play it back, I mean, he's spitting like twice the amount of bars that I am. So, I mean, I don't remember if it was a judge battle or not, but it was very, very close. It was just the closest. And that's what you want when you're battling. You want it to be very close, because that's what's going to be entertaining. And it's all about entertaining the people in the building and the people that are watching later at the end of the day. That's what I seek to do. Always. So, and yeah, like I mentioned, the worst one was definitely grid. I'm not proud of that at all.
And you know what people want to do, like battle rap someday, like what advice like would you give to anyone who wants to like, pursue like a battle rap?
Don't take it lightly. They'll eat you alive. Do not take it lightly. But do your thing. If you're hungry for it, do it. Do it. And there's, you know, leagues everywhere, the worldwide. Like, holler at somebody, see if you can get somebody to book you. I'm sure you can if you're in a metro area of some sort. Yeah, man, do your thing. You gotta start somewhere.
No, I definitely know what you mean, and I know like with battle rap they had like a lot of like legendary like battles back then. Like I know with the Loaded Lux battle, with the Daylit versus like I think Arsenal one. I think there's like a lot of like battles like back then. Like even see the ones that like Remy Ma like you know kind of like hosted, which was like the official versus I think someone else too. I also QB like the boss versus like I think 40 bars and all that. Like, just like a lot of like battles like that, you know, that were kind of new and popping versus like ones that you know were classics like at the time too. Like in your opinion, what are your like favorite like battle raps of all time?
My favorite battles of all time. It's a tough question. I mean, I'm by no means the biggest battle rap nerd in the world. I'm trying to think of battles that I've actually been at.
I think
Who did?
there's like the Shoddy horror versus I think
Shoddy versus Hitman Holla was crazy.
Yeah.
Back in the day. That whole event was crazy. I would have to go back and look at the card, but I remember just being in awe of that whole event. A lot of people had different things to say about it. It was in this theater, so people were sitting down and shit. I had the VIP, everything. We were like first row, second row to be real. But we were right there, sitting down. Shoddy Horror, Hitman Holla. The fight popped off in the middle. That was like right on us, you know. We were right in the middle of that. Me and my boy. Shout out my boy Jerry for reaching out with me. Hell yeah. That title match with Pat and Sharon there. I want to say, I don't have a favorite battle of all time, to be honest. I really don't. My battle with Skrilla is my favorite battle of all time.
I mean, you gotta be like your own fan, like either way, and pick like whatever you can. So
I will say that Pat is my favorite battler of all time. Up there, Disaster. I don't know.
You can ask anybody on the street and they'd probably give you that answer, but it's probably because it's true.
I definitely know what you mean. Like getting back into your like artistry, like in that sense too. Do you feel like you've grown as an artist from the start of your career until now?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. If I hadn't, I think I probably should have quit, and I have, and I mean, like just listen to the music and then go listen to music from 5 years ago. I don't really know how else to say it.
No. I actually forgot to ask this like a while back too, like during my first interview. Like usually I had to step it up with like the questions nowadays too. So what is your creative process like when you're making music, and what would a day in like making or recording music be like for you?
It totally depends. It totally depends who I'm working with. I try to make a habit of writing every day. So lately, I went back to doing something that was successful for me at the start of my career, which is something called the Skevious 16s. Hashtag Skevious16, and it's where I pick a beat. It could be somebody's beat on YouTube. It could be a popular beat, like a remix, mixtape style type beat, and I do a 16-bar verse, and people seem to like them. So as far as writing and practicing, I'm always practicing writing. I'm a writer. I write all kinds of things. I write jokes. I write stories. I mean, hip hop is my primary way that I express myself. So it always starts with a rap, usually. But there's been times, like some of the best songs I've ever made, like one of the best songs I ever made, in my opinion, is a song called Genocide from Wasted Talent, and that came about from, we had a drill beat and Meyer just started playing keys on it, and then I remember just belting out the hook out of nowhere, just genocide in my mind, while he's playing the keys, and I was like, oh, let me go in there and cut that. And those are the most beautiful moments. Those are the most beautiful moments when you're in the studio and something just comes to you like that and it sticks and it ends up slapping. So collabs are the best. I am that type of writer that likes to go in the corner and do my thing, but there's nothing even close to when you're in a writer's room. Like back when I was signed to what I call the label with the heavy cable, we did some songwriting sessions, and I went to songwriting school where I was trained to do songwriting sessions and be in songwriters' rooms. We went down to Nashville and wrote with some pop artists and country artists there, and then we brought that energy back home and did some songwriters' house or producers' house type songwriting sessions, whatever you want to call it. And that's a really fun process too, like pop writing with a group of people. I feel like I'm a very strong asset to any songwriter's room. That's something I've always felt. And the more I did it back then, I haven't done this so much lately, but it's something I still love and would like to do more of.
I don't know if people would really ask you this too, but how did you get the stage name, Skevious Tips is part of your stage name by any chance?
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, the generic story is I walked into a studio. Well, no, I was 16, maybe 15. No, I was 16. And I ran into some homies from the neighborhood. They were on their way to another homie's house who I didn't know, who had a studio in his bedroom, in his closet. The mic was in the closet, and clothes and everything, no gear, nothing, just a mic stand, a mic in a closet. And so I was like, yeah, no, I'll roll with, because they knew I rapped. But at that time, I was still outside the high school with straight up a binder full of raps that I'd written on Microsoft Word and typed out. And I would just bring them to school and fucking spit them like this, like I was reading the fucking Constitution or something, you know? And and so they knew I rapped, and I went to the studio with them. They asked if I wanted to cut a verse on their song. I went into my Word documents and I found one that fit the beat, and I kind of wrote over it to make it fit the beat even more while they were all recording their shit. And then end of the session, producer engineer goes, "What do you call yourself?" I was like, fuck, I gotta think of something badass real quick. And it just came out. I was like, Skevious. Wait, Skevious Tips. And then over the years, I've been like, should I keep the name that I came up with on the spot in a random moment when I was a 16-year-old? And whatever, here I am. That's what everybody knows me by. A lot of my friends call me Skeeves. It's too late to ever change it. So, yeah. Shout out to me.
Gotta start off with the beginning too, and I think just on the spot, it's very great in a way, and not much to say from there, your name is your name, just like how like Marlo from The Wire said it, you know?
Yeah, I like what Joey Badass said one time. He was like, when somebody else asked him that question, he's like, I just want to think of something badass. I think his name's Joey. He's like, Joey Badass. Perfect answer. And that's essentially my answer. I was trying to think of something cool and original.
I know that you talked, you know, opening up for like the Palm Springs like for a journey career, but you know, one fun fact was that when you talked in the Craze battle, like before like the battle even started, you said that you were opening up for like Snack the Ripper like later on like at an event. So tell me more about that like opportunity if that happened. How was it like opening up for like Snack the Ripper?
I mean, I used to do like 4 shows a month sometimes. I would open for anybody that would have me, any promoter that would book me. I never sold any tickets at all. I usually brought people out, but I would never commit to selling any tickets. And if you're a young artist, don't ever fall into that trap of selling tickets for promoters, because it's a trap, and you're not. It sucks. Just refuse it, so that you give power back to the people that are actually on stage. But besides that, cutting my teeth opening for Snack, I've opened for Snack so many times, I cannot even possibly count it, even if I went back and looked at the flyers. I was an early Snack the Ripper fan. I was like, you know, putting up Snack the Ripper posters in Toronto, all over the city back in the day. Huge inspiration in the early days for me. Huge as far as like what a dude from Canada can do, especially given they came up around drugs and graffiti and these things. And so I heavily respect that man. And to see his trajectory come to where it's at, he's got, you know, a kid and a house and whatever. It's still such a constant inspiration. So to have cut my teeth opening for, you know, the Snacks and the Merculeses and the you know, Demigods were a group that I opened for a bunch of time. As I was saying, yeah, cutting my teeth in rooms like, you know, Nocturne and the Rock Pile and all these greasy places. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for anything. It was how I became a stage performer.
I remember, like, I saw like this one clip on my IG story, like maybe back in like 2019, like on like the Palm Springs show. That I think there's like this like one like trash opener that was like kind of like opening up for them like suddenly and all that, and then I think you said like, you know, I'm like underdog with like all those like other guys and all that. I don't know if you like remember that by any chance.
I kind of do. I kind of don't. I think what you're referencing is, yeah, whoever the rapper was, he had a hook that was really fucking stupid. I don't remember what it was, but it was a really fucking stupid hook, and I was just clowning him for it, because that's what I do. I clown people. I mock people.
I think that show, like, I guess like that was like also like a good show to like Adelaide, right? I know like you said like earlier that like you weren't actually like opening for them, but like coming like as like a guest and all that.
Yeah, no, having guys like that invite me up to the stage, I mean, there's nothing quite like it. To walk up in front of their fans, they have some of the best fans I've ever met. The amount of love I've been shown by their fans is second to none, obviously. Anybody who knows my career knows that, but they've just got great fans. Their shows are such a vibe.
And then, you know, you also like toured like all over Europe and like the US like a while back. Like I think you discussed this like on the Studio One podcast. So tell me more about like, you know, touring in like Europe and the US, and do you have any like interesting stories that you like want to talk about from that?
Yeah, tour in the US and Europe was awesome. Thank you very much. Tour in the US and Europe was awesome. I went to Europe 3 times. I went to the US, I mean many times, but on 2 separate occasions. I toured California one year, and then I toured the Midwest. The Midwest was probably my favorite of all of them. My favorite place that I've ever been, like I've traveled a lot and people often ask me what was your favorite destination, where have you ever been, and my answer is I don't even remember the name of the town. I don't even remember the name of the town. It was like 40 minutes of trees on this side of the town and 40 minutes of trees on this side of the town. It was in northern Wisconsin, and you know, we're at a bar next to a library, next to a post office, next to a bus stop, and that was it. And everybody in town came out because some dudes from Canada came out, and that was what you do that night, because there's only one bar and there's only one place to go. So the house was packed. They showed us mad love. It was a bar hotel, so we had our own little suites, and the vibe there was just unreal. I would love to go back there. The Midwest in general picked up a lot of fans and people who become friends, whether on the internet or both. We also went to Nashville on that tour to do some writing sessions. So that was my favorite tour. California was pretty cool too. I had been to California before. California is beautiful, but LA is not really my vibe. Nashville is one of my favorite cities I've ever been to. In Europe, the south of France is beautiful. I went to Amsterdam twice. I don't feel the need to go to Amsterdam again. It's not really my vibe, in the same way that LA is not really my vibe. Different reasons, but similar just turn off of I don't know what it is exactly, but plenty of good times for sure. I mean, I drank a lot at that time in my life. I drank a lot, so probably a lot of the good times I don't remember. There's some bad times I don't remember. Probably not so many bad times. I mean, I do have fun, but yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun touring the world and the country.
I definitely know what you mean. I don't know if you've had like any like female like movie stories like you've had like while you were touring and all that. Like I don't know if you've had like those opportunities where like you had to like sign like some girls, I guess, or like some girls like tits and all that.
Yeah, there's a couple. The biggest show I ever did in Toronto, and the biggest house I ever performed in front of, was a packed Lee's Palace. I think the capacity of the Lee's Palace like 450 or 550. They must have had 700 or 800 people in there. No cap. It was packed. I brought my folks out, my pops and uncles and etc. And they were like, "What the fuck? Like, how do you even breathe in here?" You know. And I was up on stage, and after I came down, a dude came up to me, like really, really nervous, grown man, 10 years older than me by far, at least, especially at the time. And he came up to me real nervous but real polite, and he said, I thought he was gonna ask me for some, you know, autograph or mixtape or something. But he said, "My wife really wants to take a picture with you." So I went and took a picture with his wife, and his wife was a little bit grabby, but yeah, I got another one. Fuck it. There's a few. Since you kept bringing up the Adelaide Palmer Square show, at that show when I came down from the stage, I was just sitting at the back, you know, having a beer, sitting on the wall, standing there watching. Okay, Shotty's right there. Okay, I'll let you fill in the blanks. She had 2 Palmer Squares tattoos. Not one, not 2, not one for each of them. Just 2 separate ones. That was fun. I remember waking up and puking and getting my dick sucked at the same time. I think that's the only time I've ever puked and gotten my dick sucked at the same time.
This is like kind of more generic, but I don't know if you saw like the DJ Academics like live stream like just last year when he had like Top 5 promos and like press. I don't know if you like saw that by any chance.
No, I didn't. I've never seen a DJ Academic stream in my life. But fuck Top 5. that dude inboxed me about a feature, trying to do like a feature hustle or something, and I thought it was fucking weird. It's like, whatever, if you're a street rapper trying to do a feature hustle to a guy like me, like, I get that hustle. But the funny part was his IG story, the same day he was texting me, the same day he was inboxing me on IG, trying to get me to pay him like what, some amount of racks for a feature. He was courtside at the Raptor game, I believe with Drake. Or somebody. I don't know if it was Drake, but he was like courtside with somebody important. And it's like, how do you need the money that bad yet at the same time, you know? Fuck Top 5. Fuck you, Top 5.
I mean,
I ain't afraid of you. Test my gangster, bro.
I mean, right now he's like in court right now, I think, for, not in court like at the moment, but he's about to be in court soon for a first-degree murder charge with the kid, like in Palestine and all that. So
yeah, I don't pay attention to none of that street shit.
That's like from what I've seen like right now, but like from what you've heard, like I guess we heard it here, you know. Either way, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to get more into like the non-music side of like, the questions. I remembered, I think like in that Studio 01 interview that you did your first mixtape at a halfway house. I don't know if you want to talk more about like your time at the halfway house and the things that happened like prior and like after like that.
Yeah. Shout out to Jabril from Studio 01. That was a fun interview. Sure. Yeah, I made my first mixtape. It was called The Invisible Jail Cell. If somebody can get me a copy of that, holler at me, because I don't have one. I don't even have a computer with it on it. I seen recently somebody was trying to sell one online for like $100 or some shit. Good luck, but them things will be worth something someday. So hold on to my old mixtapes, but also give me one if you don't mind. I made that mixtape. Funny story. Okay, so you know, I got into some trouble, and you know, I was running around doing stupid shit like stupid young people do, and got caught up, and that was the deal. I had to go do 9 months in a halfway house, and so basically what I did was I took the proceeds of my crime. I don't know if I should say this on camera, but it's been so many years, I don't give a fuck. I took the proceeds of my crime and I invested them into my first microphone. It was an Audio Tech, the same ones they still sell, still a good mic, just go for $150. Back then it was probably about the same price. And a little table stand and what do you call them? The little Focusrite box and a preamp and all the cables, and that was essentially all I needed to plug into my, it wasn't even a MacBook, it was a PowerBook G4 laptop. Predates the MacBook. And whatever, I set it up. I still got a picture of it all that I took when I was all proud of it, and I set it up. And then I recorded like 20 or 30 tracks, and I think like 20 tracks came out, or 18 tracks or something on that mixtape. All in that room, all in this little room that I was stuck in for 9 months. And I was only allowed to go to high school and back, and otherwise I was there. And I didn't have any weed to fuck around with. You couldn't smoke weed, you couldn't drink, you couldn't do drugs or whatever else I would have done for fun back then. So that really gave me that first initial push to like really take rap seriously, and it gave me the time and the space and everything I needed, even the money from you know where I got it. It was like stars aligned, and I was able to crush that project. The funny part is that I was recording the entire time into the mic backwards, like most condenser studio microphones are set up so they're tall, they're like this, right? Without pause. But I had it like you're supposed to have it sitting like this. I had it like this. So I was recording into the top of a microphone. And the song sounded like shit, obviously, because I had no engineering experience. I did it all in GarageBand. I was also recording with a handful of other artists who would come through the spot and come into my little stupid bedroom and help me out. And shout out to those people. I'm not going to name names, but some people that really helped me take music seriously at that time. So that was sick. It was sick that happened in the way that it did. I don't know if I would be rapping. I'd probably be dead if none of that happened, to be honest.
And like these charges, like from back then, like they're like later expunged because of the Youth Offender Act, and then
yeah, I was a youngster. They're gone. I can travel.
So that's good, you know. Like I think like in that sense too. Like I know like with some people we get caught up in like young, dumb type shit right now, but like, I do feel like with some people that get caught up like later in life, you know, some people might have it worse. But like it kind of like stops you. Like I guess it kind of reinforced you to stay away from like more like heinous type stuff. You know, get caught and all that.
Yeah, I mean, it was the end of the road for me. I was like legit 17, going on 18 when it was going through court and shit. So it was like possible I was gonna get tried as an adult. Thank God I didn't. And that was my third time between 15 and 18 getting arrested. So, you know, I could have continued down that road or I could have not. And, you know, it's not like I didn't do stupid shit after that, but I definitely didn't do anything that stupid. Thank God.
I want to get more, like, maybe I didn't really ask this like a while back too, like I think I might have asked more in the music sense, but we talked about like, last time, you know, you growing up in like North York and now you're residing in like East York, so like in both areas, it was like growing up around like North York and East York, even now. Did you say that it molded you into your experience on who you are like today? Or do you feel like the areas don't really mold like people like that?
I mean, Toronto's pretty homogenous, but there is a good separation between like North York, the East End, and the West End, and I guess downtown. North York, where I grew up, I mean, I felt like a king there at a time. You know, like everybody knew me, and I knew everybody. You know, it was just friends. But that's how it is when you're younger and you're in high school. I went to a high school with over 2,000 people in it, in the heart of North York. So I never really went to school. I never really graduated from there. But I would hang out. I was there every day. I showed up every day, but I never went to class. I would hang out, you know, hustle outside and rap outside and, you know, getting into hella trouble outside and sleeping outside. And, you know, I was out there. I was out there in those streets of North York. And then, yeah, when I was about 20, I first had a couple apartments in the North York area, but when I was 20 years old, I moved into a spot on the famous Danforth in Toronto's East End, and I stayed there for 5 years. I still have very fond memories of that crib. I lived with 12 close friends, a couple of whom still remain close friends. It was really sad what happened there and why I had to leave and how that all turned out. But 1524 Danforth, man, I grew up in a weird way. So from when I was 20 to 25, when I was living there, that was the only 5 years of my life that I ever rested my head in the same place for 5 years consecutively. So I was just driving by there the other day, and every time I get a little bit of a tear in my eye, but it is what it is. Only brought me to where I'm at now, which is actually, to correct you a little bit, I moved to the West End recently, so it's a wild, wild west. I don't know the roads. I don't know nobody out there. Don't nobody know me. It's kind of cool like that. It's kind of like a brand new world. I didn't even realize the West End was so big. I was always running around the North or the East or Scarborough. I never really fucked with the West End, so the Lansdowne Strip's one of my favorite areas in the West End. I joined a gym in the West End, a boxing gym. It's a whole new life. I like it.
So, you know, with the gentrification that's going on in Toronto right now, like you've noticed it, like all around like the city and all that, like lots of condos coming in, like Starbucks is being turned into like, you know, weed spots and all that, by like cannabis and all that, like, you know, lots of like fast food like coming in to destroy like smaller businesses and all that. So do you feel like that gentrification and the change of cost of living like ruined Toronto in that sense?
Yeah, it's fucking brutal. It's fucking brutal. My old neighborhood died the day that Booster Juice showed up. Ever since then, like when I moved into that spot when I was 20, like our neighbors 2 doors down was a notorious cafe for having like however many shootings a year. And 2.5 years, 3 years, I want to say later, like it was empty for a while. Once the city finally figured out how to shut them down, it was empty for a little while. And 2.5, 3 years later, it's a daycare. And not even just a daycare, it's like a classy ass daycare, like a uppity daycare, which just bugs me out. It's weird. And there's a dive bar right at the corner of Coxwell and Danforth where I spent many nights with many of my good friends. And oh shit, I just caught the WrestleMania commercial, sorry, I got distracted. Edge versus AJ Styles, that's cool. Helen's Burger Bar. Shout out to Helen's Burger Bar. The best dive bar in the whole entire world. The whole entire earth. Don't exist no more. As of 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was informed that, I mean, it's still a dive bar, but they raised the prices a couple bucks on the beers, and it's new management, and it's just not the same. It's just not the same, according to my homies who's still there. So yeah, gentrification in Toronto sucks, man. I feel it from all sides. I mean, I got homies that, you know, can't nobody afford to live here. Everybody's struggling to live here, and it's like a lot of my friends are dead, or they were smart enough to get the fuck up on out of here and save themselves from the stress and the bullshit that kills you. And so I do feel like I'm the last one left, kind of. So there's something to say about that. But I don't blame people for leaving. I don't know a single fucking person that wants to be here. I just wish that we all could have coagulated and all just gone to the same town. Like I got homies that went to BC. I got homies that went to the East Coast. I got homies that went down south into the States. I got homies that went to the Midwest states. Like, I just wish we could have all came together and coagulated and like picked a town. Like, we're gonna go to, you know, Pickle Billy, Ontario, and we're gonna make that place cool. But that's just not how life works, you know. I got plans for a simpler life, to get out of here and do some, you know, get some land and just build something up. It doesn't matter where it is. But I want to get the fuck out of here. This place is a shithole.
I do feel like with gentrification, it ruined like all aspects of life in Toronto. Like, I know with music venues, like there's like music venues that were on the cusp of like being like shut down immediately, like the government and all that, Cool House, and some that had to like rebrand, like Rebel and all that, and then others, like even like the Mod Club that turned to like Axe Club and all that, and then, you know, they even had plans of like closing down the Phoenix to create like another condo too, and then just even like with people like moving into other areas, like I think with you know, some people like in certain areas, like they have to move to Brampton or like to like Oshawa, and you know, crime happens more there. Like people from like lower income housing that have to move all the way there. And the same issues like still happen, like, which doesn't like really work out too, you know. So it doesn't really work for like both ways and all that, because that area that used to be nice is now like bad now, and that area that used to be bad is still the same, but like they just had to move everyone out like nowadays too, to build like more condos and to make like the cost of like even buying like goods like more expensive. Like it's like Whole Foods and stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's gross, man. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know a single person who's from here that stayed here that still wants to be here. I don't. Everybody complains about it. It sucks. It sucks. I'm grateful I grew up here, I guess, but I would never raise children here. That's for damn sure. This place is, it's not for kids. adults only.
I definitely know what you mean. I know since the pandemic happened, I saw like this Facebook post that you posted like a while back that you actually lost like someone very special to you due to like unfortunate like circumstances. I don't know if you want to like talk more about that. And did you feel like the pandemic took like a toll on you based on like situations like that and like on your own well-being?
Yeah, I mean, when you lose someone you're in a relationship with, that you're in love with, when she's 22, yeah, it's not going to be easy. I don't think it would have mattered, but what definitely made me very angry at the powers that be, or however you want to put them, was not being allowed to go to the hospital to visit her when she was in what they call brain dead. And so I don't know, you could read into it all you want, but like the thing is, there's so many emotions, dude. I don't know if I wanna go there. I'm super at peace with it. I miss her a lot, and I've put music out about it. I'm still gonna put music out about it. There's nothing more to say. I loved her a lot.
I definitely understand your wishes. I'm sending my condolences to you like during that time too. I know that was like kind of tough, you know, for a lot of people, and I know like.
Yeah, she's a very popular girl. Yeah. Very popular girl. She's, you know, my biggest fan at the time, and a really big fan of mine before that. And I knew her since she was 14, and you know, always kind of had a crush on her. And she was just always so cool about promoting my music. She was a door girl at a lot of local shows, so she was very, very well known in the scene. And I was, you know, very proud to call her my lady for however long I did.
I know you were also like very vocal like on the whole like pandemic situation with the vaccines, like lockdowns. I guess like even from that situation, like, you know, not being able to see like your loved one like in hospital, did that really influence you to take that specific stance that you follow like about the whole?
No, because I remember having conversations with her while she was alive about it, so that couldn't have been it. I was already like in that camp before that happened. So if you want to read into it like that, you can read into it like that. But that's not how it was. We legit had plans to go to the end of lockdown protest like a couple days after she passed. So that's not what it was at all.
And yeah, I've been really vocal. I mean, no, it's no secret. We don't have to go over it. I think the whole thing was bullshit. And I don't believe what they say for a minute. Not about anything anymore, to be honest.
Well, just like skipping over like the whole like pandemic type stuff. I think even like with Toronto too, like I think right now it's like the most normal that it has been like right now. Do you feel like, how do you feel about like this sort of like normal right now in Toronto? Do you feel like it'll just be like how it was like pre-pandemic, or do you kind of like disagree?
I don't know if it'll last. I don't know. The thing is, we're still, unvaccinated people are still some kind of prisoners in our own country. I'm going to Chicago in a couple weeks, and I expect to be fined $5,000 on my way back into the country. That's fucked up. It says right on my passport, the bearer, whatever, shall be given safe passage or free passage or whatever it says. It says it right there, clear as day, that I'm allowed to walk into Canada. That's what the passport's for. So if they want to stick something up my nose and fine me $5,000 for it, I'm gonna fight it myself in court. And I know, you know, dozens of people who bought their tickets, and some of them are still waiting for court dates. They're in 2025. Others of them it just got tossed. So I'm fully prepared for it. I don't think it's right. And do I think things are going to go the same in Toronto? I mean, it's been really nice lately, to be honest. to be honest, after having not been, after a year or so of restaurants not being open, and then a year or so of me just not being allowed in them, yeah, the last month or two has been lit, yo. I've been at all you can eat like a motherfucker. That was one thing I thought I'd never see again in my life was a buffet. So I've been killing. After this interview, I'm about to go to all you can eat Japanese spot still. Yeah, no, I've been killing it with all you can eat because I really appreciate it now. Like I really. These things in life that you take for granted, right? Until you lose it all, and then it does feel special. So I'm just trying to soak in every moment. I love seeing people outside having a good time, enjoying themselves again. I love it. I love to clown around. I love the streets being packed and striking up conversations with people or cracking jokes with people. It's just I really have this feeling of just like I'm enjoying it while it lasts, because we know that these things can be taken away from us now, and who knows? We got wars happening. We got the whole world's pretty nuts. It always has been. This isn't a new thing. The world's always been pretty bananas. So just counting my blessings and trying to be grateful for them.
I don't know if you saw the Oscars just a little bit, but you noticed before Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, when he was talking about the whole G.I. Joe.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on it when he slapped Chris Rock?
I wasn't watching. I saw the clips. I thought it was a low blow on Chris Rock's part, because how are you gonna crack jokes about the ugliest woman in the room? Come on, man. It's kind of a low blow. Nah, I think the whole shit was staged and bullshit, to be honest.
We just have these last two questions right here. With everything else going on in life, do you have any regrets of your own, or do you regret nothing in that sense?
I try to live without regret, because I do believe that God has a plan for all of us, and that every mistake that you make leads to a lesson at some point, even though you may not feel it at the time. One of the best things I ever heard was the best way to live. The best way to live in heaven on earth is to treat everything as a blessing, even a toothache or a headache. Or if you crash your car, instead of saying fuck, say, I'm grateful, and to just try and have that attitude. So in that sense, no, I can't live with regrets, because every mistake I made me stronger, even if I had to make it 17 times. As long as I learned something from it the 18th time, I'm blessed. I've had a lot of experiences, and I've learned the hard way. Basically my entire life I've been on my own. Since I was a young kid, since I was 15, I've been on my own, and so I've done a lot of learning, and it's all been me figuring shit out. I don't have nobody to walk me through anything. Everything I figured out, whether I was wrong or right, I figured it out on my own. And I always say, I may be wrong sometimes, I might be wrong a lot, but I'll never bullshit anybody. I'll always be sincere. So the things I say, they may be off color sometimes, but or however you want to characterize it. But my job in the things I say, first and foremost, is to entertain, because I'm an entertainer. So I seek to entertain. Second, I hopefully am saying something insightful or creative or different, or something that somebody's never said before. But first I want to entertain the audience, because the audience is my boss. I am their employee. Without them, I am nothing. So I'm an entertainer. Hopefully I'm saying something insightful. And what comes third is hopefully I'm correct. But that's not the most important thing for me. I'm not the arbiter of truth. Nobody is. So I try to have fun with life. I don't take life too seriously. We're all here for a reason, and I'm trying to figure out mine just like everybody else is.
Do you have any final words you would like to say before we finish?
Yeah. The Lens of Yashu is gonna drop my next video exclusively. Look for the link at the bottom of this.
Skevious tips, thank you for coming back to, kind of share more of your story and all that, like with the battle rap experience, touring, working with the Palmer Squares and all that, and I'm glad that, you're finally spirited, in that sense too, even with all the stuff going on in life, that you managed to maintain a positive route and to finally, focus on your path and on your journey right now, and it's a blessing to see you in that light too, and that
appreciate that.
You're fully spirit too. And even the music coming up right now, I know you worked with Meyer on 2 new songs. They were dope either way. I think anyone check that out right now.
Yeah, this party hits more like a funeral. We're both very, very, very proud of those songs. I love those songs. A lot of people like them. A lot of people are messing with them. We got 2 videos dropping, and one of them I have just told Josh on camera that he's going to be the one. He's got the exclusive rights to drop it, so he'll get in touch with me after this interview, and it'll come out with this article and this video, or we'll figure out how to do it. Also look for the GoFundMe that's going to be funding my gas to Chicago, hopefully. I got to put the videographer up in a nice hotel room, and we got to get there. Gas is hella expensive right now, so I'm just, if anybody could chip in, I'd appreciate it.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the Lens of
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for having me.
Definitely gonna have you come back soon, for another interview to talk on some new topics, to talk on everything else going on, and yeah.
100% anytime, my line is always open.
So until next time, man.
Skevious tips, you know what it is.
All right.